When you wake up in the morning and you feel like a cheeseburger. Something like that. Probably. It's been a long journey, journey, journey. I can feel you, feel you. Yeah, I see that shit all the time. Waka waka. Okay. Blue skidoo, I could too. Man, that'd be fucking nuts if I could jump in tanks. That's some Margot shit. That's one of her abilities. It's a common part of Margot's lore that she was, in fact, trapped in the painted world of Ariamis for a good amount of time. That is in our household, a common thing. That if there's ever a reason to tell someone, hey, be careful what you ask for. You don't want to get trapped in that painting. I was trapped in a painting one time for, it felt like a lifetime. Oh shit, got too close, got sucked in. Happens all the time. But when they say don't touch the paintings at the museum, that's why. Don't be fucking stupid. Don't be stupid. That's how you get fucking trapped in there. I should have known. That's on me. That's pretty much yeah, that's the note that I'm on today. We were gonna have a special guest and shit. We might still have a special guest. Let me get him. I'm gonna need like a piece of paper though. We almost had two, but I kind of lost the first one. I think I need like just a piece of paper, something real thin. He's trying to get away, but he ain't gonna get that far. Oh boy, you ain't gonna get that far with all those little legs. I'm gonna catch you. I'm gonna make you be a guest on my stream. Hold on a second. All right. Special guest, Harold, the armadillium. Okay, well he's rolled up. I don't wanna hurt any of his little sensitive leggies, but he's gonna hang out with me for a little bit today, and then he can go live in his little house again. He's real shy. This is you all can't really see him too well, but I'll zoom in. And maybe you don't want to watch this little bug with me, but I love him. Maybe you don't want to watch this bug with me, but we're in love, so that's your problem. Me and this bug. He's actually not a bug. Well, technically, he is a bug. He's not an insect. A lot of people don't fully understand the difference between the two, but that's okay. He's an isopod. He's got lots and lots and lots of little leggies. There are a large amount of different species of isopods and different subspecies. This one is like absolutely he's what you would call a roly-poly, a pill bug, a woodlouse. Now the other one, and this is why he got away. The other one, and I kind of wanted to show him because I love them. They make me very, very, very happy. I love isopods. They're one of, and have always been one of my just favorite creatures on this planet. They're just so wonderful. They just look like, well, they absolutely are. They just are something that crawled out of the ocean, and then just barely changed. And I think one of my favorite things about them is that they have gills. Like they do not breathe oxygen like the way that you would think that they do. They have to have a large amount of moisture in their air for them to breathe. That's why they have to live in extremely damp and humid areas. So underneath the leaves and stuff, they'll do that, hang out under there. Yeah, I'm looking at this little guy right here. in case you're joining and you're wondering why I'm staring and talking about little bugs. But there's just a little isopod that I found in my basement. And I'm going to put him back in one of my terrariums. I'm guessing he came from outside and got in through one of the windows or something. Let me see if I can find the other guy. He got away. He was pretty quick. He's a different species. There he is. Let's see if we can get you. He is not. Hi, little friend. And I feel like this guy's just going to go live in this model now. I'm going to try to get him off there. There we go. So yeah. I don't know if you all can see him or not. Where I put him. Oh shit. And also he might have just... Nope. He's just laying real still. He's right here though. But this is another type of isopod. And you're definitely not going to be able to see him. He's way too small. But I want to zoom in on him. So that's what we're going to do today. Welcome to Bug Talk. I'm your host, RedWetSkeleton. Everybody thinks I don't know how to find these bugs. I know how to find them. Don't you worry about that. 1 second. Really, we'll get to some hobbying. I just gotta find this buggy. There he is. Right there. See him? And our other friend is going off to live over here now. Look at him go. Man, look at that guy. He is fun, huh? He's kind of got a dark little exoskeleton. This guy is just like, you know, when in Rome, BB. I know. I don't want to... I'm trying to just get him to move at all so everyone can see what he looks like. There we go. So, honey, you are being absurd. Oh! Yeah, well, he might... I'm going to do my best to try and get them out of here before I forget. Or honestly, no, I'm going to get him out right now. Hey, come on, little bud. I shouldn't have put you in there. I didn't think about the fact that you could absolutely squeeze into these little creases and get out. I was just trying to show people little bugs that I love. So, come on, friend. This little guy. So as you can see, he is a lot faster, and that is because it's a completely different species. Like, not even species, I think different genus. They are not as related as you would think they are. He's hiding under this little stick like a real little cutie now. God, I love them so much. They're just little goofballs. But yeah, so that looks... I'm going to say he's probably a powder orange, which is not a good... That's not a good thing. That means that he probably is one of mine, which means that he probably escaped one of his terrariums and has reproduced, because I don't have those naturally around here to my knowledge. And the fact that he is... I don't know. He might be... He cannot roll. So that is a very... a key difference. That if you're, and I'm talking about this just to be real, for a little bit, because I love isopods, so I kind of want to talk about it. I want to talk about them. This is very much in the same kind of vein of like where I get a lot of my ideas and a lot of my designs from. I mean, actually, not even in the same vein. This is just straight up like I love nature. I love bugs, and isopods are one of my absolute favorite animals on this planet. They make me so happy just watching them go about their little lives. They really are. They remind me of just. You're so cute. Okay, friend. Come on. I'll go put you in a forever home. I'm gonna go put him up. I don't want him to get lost in this diorama. Come on. There we go. Okay, we'll be right back. Almost slipped. Almost slipped on the Gardener Seekins. Good morning. Good morning, Gardener. I am here with a special guest, this little isopod. I found him, and I found his friend, and I thought I would let them play in this play space with me for a little bit. And then I took the other one up because he was way too rowdy and way too quick. This guy's not rowdy or quick, though, at all. And he thinks that I don't know where he went. Man, this is weird, aka Green Horse. Oh, wonderful. Wonderful. Okay, yes, I've seen your name pop up here as new followers and stuff, but I did not put two and two together that is your handle. I think I'm lower than normal. I am. Okay. So, yeah, I'm just kind of looking at this isopod. I got really distracted by him. Well, technically by two. And I was trying to show them off because I love them so much. But this guy, he just doesn't want to hang out with me. So, come on, friend. I really am trying to be as sensitive as possible. I'm just giving him a little poke to get him to turn around. Come on, friend. Up. Come on. Come on. Boy, girl, little isopod. Okay, friend. This way. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna put them in the other tank too. I'm just gonna, come on. Yeah, they're just so great. But yeah, they have gills. I love that they have gills. This little guy definitely is not one that I have birthed. Like, not myself personally, but like in my terrariums. But is absolutely a native. And I am not going to be able, I'm at work. He likes the tower. He does. I think he does. I love these guys. This is, I know the very first part of the Latin name, it's Armadillium. And that is, it has to do with the fact that they are a species that can roll. He has very segmented plates. Whoop. There we go. Yeah, he's got really segmented little exoskeleton, and he uses that to roll up into a ball like an armadillo, which is, I'm pretty sure, where the Latin name comes from, Armadillium, because that is not a present part of the Latin naming convention of a lot of other isopods. Only ones, to my knowledge, that can roll up into a ball. And what's fun, or at least I think kind of fun, like, even though they look like, a lot of them look like they have the same kind of plates that would enable them to roll up into a ball like this, or even bigger. Like my my biggest group of isopods, actually, yeah. My isopod tank, they're dairy cows, are the main species that I have in there. So they have white and black spots like little cows. And they're not the largest species of isopod, but I've definitely had some that were, I mean, definitely larger than about there, about like the end of my thumb. I've had some monster dairy cows, and it's really fun just because like I've got a colony of them living in it's a 10-gallon. I have a 10-gallon aquarium upstairs that I built a isopod terrarium in. That I put I'll show a video of it at some point or pictures, if people are interested in terrariums and that kind of stuff, nature. But it's got a pothos plant that is absolutely, it's already broken glass, but like it cracked the bottom plate, so it's sitting on top of a tray that will collect water because I have to keep it pretty wet in there because it's got a giant pothos, and then it has, at this point I have no idea how many isopods. I bought a box of like a little cup of like 20 from like a local feeder store, and I know there are, multiple hundreds, if not thousands, though, living inside of this tank now. It's just really funny when I'll see a little guy like this pop up, and he's just like doo 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 doo, eating some food, and then all of a sudden the ground underneath of him will like move, and then one of these giant dairy cows that was like a child of a child of a child of like the first members of the cup. Like one of these like ancient dairy cow children rises up out of like the substrate, and like all the little dairy cows are like underneath of him. They're like, oh, what's going on? And he's just like, nom, 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 nom. And then he starts eating food, and I'm just like, man, that'd be wild. But I'm gonna go put him in a little forever home real quick. That way he can live happily. I don't know if my basement's human enough for him. And that concludes our surprise special guest visits. Yeah. They were fun. Fun guests. I didn't expect them. Always excited. So yesterday, I painted on the rocks. I got real hung up on trying to use this gift card that somebody gave me, and it just would not let me use it anywhere on the internet. So I ran off to my local my local shop, Hard Knocks Games, to buy some stuff to use on the board, and they did not have any, so I ended up wasting a bunch of time. So then I came back and was just like frantically like, I got to do a bunch of shit today because I feel like I just wasted a whole bunch of my day. So I got all the rocks, the bricks on the castle that I had up against the wall, and then dropped essentially the ones that have fallen out of here. I've been trying to, I did the best that I could in figuring out replicating where they would fall. And that is one thing that I did not personally factor in, but then after thinking about it, it was just like, yeah. So as far as how the hell would all these rocks, these giant bricks end up that far away, it's because when they fall, they're going to actually hit the tower. Like this chunk over here, when it falls out, because a straight path down actually would send it into contact with this part. That's why this part has been destroyed. I tried to over-engineer and overthink every bit of this as much as possible in the initial, like, hey, where do things fall? And I'm really kind of happy to see that after like going back and taking the bricks that fell, that supposedly did fall, and putting them back, and then naturally watching them fall out on their own. Not only did they hit where I thought that they would, but it's just like, yeah. So I enjoy that. I was really pleased with that. It was not a happy accident, but I don't remember planning it. But at the same time, it's just like I clearly was thinking along the lines because the parts that are fallen absolutely hit. Like when you drop them, they fall right here and they hit all the spots that I've already cleared out. So I'm thinking I might have actually done it whenever I was just cutting them. I might have just cut them, and then wherever they physically fell, I might have made a mark, and I just don't remember because, in all honesty, the bricks and the wood for this roof were two of the single most like trivial things that I've ever done, and I've done some pretty insanely trivial things. But I mean, like soul-breaking level of what the fuck? This is taking too much time. But I'm really excited with how it's turned out so far. I think I'm going to today. I'm still in the process of setting up my shop in the way that it, like the end goal is. So I don't have as much absolute like, oh yeah, I can go do that right now. That I will, and that's kind of throwing me into some hang-ups. Things will run smoother, but again, Rome wasn't built in a day. Rome wasn't built, and I'm gay. That's one of my new favorite shirts that I've seen. From, I'm trying to remember his name. It's something pumpkin. It's this little man, and he's not afraid of a goblin ghoul. He's so and so pumpkin. I don't know. It's just this little, I believe Hispanic man. Rome wasn't built in a day, but this 9 was. This 9 was. Good. Okay, now I get it. Good. But this 9 was. Oh shit. Man, I'm gonna have to look it up. I'm gonna have to look up what that guy's name is because I love him. I want to say it's Theodore Pumpkin. I'm Theodore Pumpkin. No, it's not Theodore. Theodore's my son. I'm gonna find it and I'll let all of you know, because I love that guy. He's just really, really, really short. He's like an older guy. I'm not afraid of a goblin or a ghoul. I believe in myself. It's a guy on Instagram, but his whole thing is he's super. I mean, I guess, man, that's a weird fucking thought. Just be the change that you want to see in the world. And I'm over here describing. It's just like people tell me that I'm a good positive impact, and it's just like I really try. I try to be positive, and it's just like, well, let me look at my hero. Let me look at my heroes. Well, we got Pee Wee Herman, and we got this fucking weird pumpkin guy. I don't believe in goblin ghouls. I believe in myself. I'm a pumpkin. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm down with that. That's good. I look at my life and I think, yeah, if I'm trying to bring people up like Pee Wee and like that pumpkin dude, I'm doing good. I'm fine with that. That's cool. So yeah, yesterday I printed out. This is a bit excessive, but it's not. It's not really when you think about it. If you think about it, I'm sure you all remember, or maybe you don't. That's okay. I've been really stoked about this cyberpunk scenery from Project Mobius, and they all connect with these quick open click, open connect clips. So I was like, man, I'm gonna need a whole bunch of those. So after I printed out a bunch of the little like walls and stuff yesterday, in between realizing, oh shit, I need to plan out how many of each piece that I'm going to need to print. I didn't do that at first. I really just thought, oh yeah, I'll print all the pieces that are shown on the first floor. That's not how this dude does his designs. And to be honest, that's not even on him. Like, he essentially, the picture shows all the pieces, but it only shows them once. It only shows every piece once, and you have to essentially look at the picture of the finished product and then take the picture that he shows the pieces and then decipher them yourselves. So while everything I printed will be used, a lot of things I need to print multiple times. So that's what I'm doing now. But in between there, I printed an entire print bed of open lock little things. So I've got like 200 of these now. It only took like 6 hours. It was like $1.80 of filament for it was 196, but I deleted the bottom row because it was on top of the part where it like kind of clears out the nozzle, and I didn't want to fuck with that. Trying to think of what else has changed since I've shown you this. We talked to some isopods. We heard what they had to say. I don't think that I covered this, but the little guy that we were playing with earlier that was really, really, really fast, as opposed to the other guy that was bigger and slower. I didn't really go into that, but those are the two different main types of like I'll say forms of isopods. You either have the kind that is like the armadillium, which is larger, more rounded, and they have that ability to roll up into a ball to like keep themselves safe. And then you have the other kind, and those typically like woodlouse. A woodlouse is a generic term for an isopod. And I'd say it's because they behave like lice with wood. They eat rotting. They eat decay, like rotting fibrous vegetation, dead leaves, wood. If it's wet, they'll just kind of just eat at it. They love certain fruits and vegetables. They fucking love watermelon. I put a piece of watermelon in there one day, and that whole thing was just a black and white. Like you could not see a single bit of the watermelon. They covered the whole thing in just these little black and white bodies. Just, but yeah, dairy cows. They're really big, so like they look kind of like the little guy who was really fast, except they are like 3 to 4 times the size of the bigger guy that was here, and they cannot roll up in a ball. And they have spots like a cow. Yeah, I've got videos on my Instagram and whatnot. If you're like, oh, hey, I love isopods, let me look at them boys and girls. Who dey? I love them. They're great. They make me feel like I'm doing a good job. If I can keep them and their little families happy and safe, I feel like maybe, there's some good out there. I like to do that with animals. I like to do that with a lot of animals that, for some reason, I like a lot. I guess the biggest commitment to keep an animal that I like alive is Jason, my Pac-Man frog, Jason Funderburker. Her original name, her God-given Christian name is Gorloth, Devourer of Worlds. All caps, Gorloth, Devourer of 1,000 Worlds. Sorry, that's on me. That's disrespectful to my daughter. But yeah, her common tongue name is Jason Funderburker, because Jason Funderburker, if you have seen Over the Garden Wall, everyone knows it's the best name for a frog. It's the perfect name for a frog, so every frog should really be named Jason Funderburker, if you're being honest. Initially, though, I really fell in love with Pac-Man frogs because of the game Mortal Shell. There is a wonderful character called Gorf, who is a giant Pac-Man frog. And during a particular upgrade or update to the game, they added Gorf in, and it lives in this like cave, and you can go talk to it. And if you talk, you can feed it different things, and it will give you different colors for your armor, like shades. But it also just talks to you. What about George Washington? George Washington is a good name for a frog, Mr. President. Mr. President, his feet are cold. Look at his cold little feet. Slap, 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 slap. God, I love that show. I love Over the Garden Wall so much. I'm trying to think if we watched something that Greg was the voice in very recently. Shit. And we both were so excited. We were like, oh, it's Greg. Huh, you have beautiful eyes. It's a rock fact. Yeah. I'm glad he's all right about me, or all wrong about me. I ain't got no sense. I'm gonna quit quoting Over the Garden Wall. I promise. Fuck, what was I talking about? Rome wasn't built in a day, but this 9 was. Also, is that a real gun that Gage is always pointing at people? That just popped into my head while we're talking about 9s. But yeah, George Washington. 30 feet tall, fucking killing for fun. He loves the children, but not the British children. He loves the children, but not the British children. One time, he stuck a woman's hand in a jar of acid. I hope you guys know what I'm talking about. If you don't, then I just seem like a crazy person who's awesome. I'm trying to think if it's not Justin Roiland. I don't believe Justin Roiland had anything to do with that. The chirp. He might have. I don't remember who the artist was, but that was thankfully, yes. It is very fake. I saw it in person. It's very fake, thankfully. Okay, good. They were pointing it at people at the end of... Okay, so, yeah, that was... I can't stress enough. So often that I would just kind of look at Adepticon when we were in that like back room and there's just Gage just pointing a gun at people. And I'm just like, man, I don't think that's real, but I haven't gotten close enough. But the fact that like I know that the wires have been around them, I can't imagine that it's a real gun. If for any reason I could get over the point that I was like really sure that like Gage was just that wanton with like danger for everyone. I know for a fact that just like there could not have been a wire in that building and that happened if it was a real gun. Like I think they would die. I think they would just explode. At least Greg. I think Greg would spontaneously immolate or combust if he just watched someone just playing with guns. I love those boys. They're so wonderful. Always practice gun safety. I say that because... Oh shit. It's upstairs. Well, I was about to say I say that because and then pull out my copy of Greg's book, but it is upstairs. I think on our dining... No, I either keep that in the dining room or I keep it in the living room on the coffee table. But I think it's in the dining room next to How to Talk to Your Cats About Guns. We have a book about how to talk to your cats about guns. And then right next to it is a very serious book from Greg called How to Safely Fire... Firing handguns safely. I can't remember the exact name of Greg's book, but he sent me a copy of that after it came out. Wonderful. Like again, the wires are just such a positive impact on this planet. I am only just trying to do what I can do to try and positively impact people as well. I found this bag the other day. I was doing a bunch of cleaning and I just thought, this is kind of funny. I'll show you guys. This is just the kind of bag that, like, while I'm cleaning, I'm like, what the fuck is even this? It's just a bag with 3 teeth and then, like, 2 kinds of, like, little metal screws. And I was like, what the fuck is even this? Like, I'm fucking weird, but I don't. Oh, it came out of my skeleton. Life-size skeleton. I keep these in its eye socket because he doesn't have pockets. But I keep it in his eye socket because they're extra teeth, which is that's wild. Like, it's always weird to me when I buy things that are clearly, I'm not using them the way they're supposed to, but I always do enjoy when I'm like, yeah, man, I'm so excited. And then it comes with something. I'm like, well, what the fuck was I even supposed to use this for? And it was just like, well, if you were using it like what it's supposed to be used for, you would use it naturally for the thing that it's clearly for. But I really enjoy. It's the same concept as kit bashing, and it's reverse engineering. I love reverse engineering. I love trying to figure out what something was made for, because it's the same kind of. Marco, I know you missed them. They were out here. They were running around. You could have hung out with them on the board. You'd fit. You could sit pretty right in the middle. I know. If I let you, you would. I know. A lot of people don't know about that, though. A lot of people don't know that you helped me paint the Vestarian board, the mud board that I took to Texas. Margot, I got it painted, and Margot said, "You know what? I think it needs in the middle." And then just threw up right in the middle. And I'm not sorry. I couldn't clean all of it up. So yeah, some of that was very dried cat vomit from this one. It was sanitary because I did varnish over it, so you can't touch it. But yep, I did my best. But somebody climbed up on my board and had a hairball. And that's life. So you just got to roll with the punches. And that really kind of goes into exactly what cat texture paste. That was some Margot brand texture paste. She's really having it. Let me see if I can get her little face. There you go. Margot, can you look at the camera? Margot. See right here? That is the camera that we use when we talk. That way it looks like we're talking to him. Because we are. Well, right now I'm talking to you. But now I'm talking to you all. Such a good girl. Anywho, so, what were we going to tell them, Margot? We were probably going to tell them about these plants and these bushes that we've been dicking around with. She's going to try to jump down here in a second. And I don't like when she does that because she has little legs. And that is a concrete floor. And I sit very high up off the ground, and it has a potential to hurt their little leggies. Oliver dicks around. Actually, you all probably saw me say, "Oliver, don't do it. And then he jumped, and then he hurt his little leg. He, for some reason, so Margot and Oliver both, they are siblings, like true siblings, litter siblings. And they both clearly, Kelly's mom works at the animal hospital, so they, like my wife grew up, if you can think of like a weird way to grow up like with animals, like other than like some Steve Irwin shit, or like Steve Irwin, that's about it. Like a Steve Irwin is like the only kind of like parent that I can imagine that my wife could have had, that she would have been exposed to like animals, like wild fucking animals that you would not have in your house on a regular basis. The only thing I can think of that like would have been like more like that would be like if her like parent had been like the fucking crocodile hunter kind of shit, because that her normal life like growing up was just any animal like from multiple counties. Like anyone that knew her mom growing up, like within an hour, 2 hours, 3 of this area, if they found a wild animal that had gotten hurt that needed to be cared for, they would manage to get a hold of it and then take it to her. So like, and this still happens all the fucking time. Like since we have been together, I've gotten to play with a lot of crazy animals that you wouldn't think that you'd get to play with, but she grew up with them, like raised as like pets and learning how to care for them in a way, like in a very cool way. It's not the way like, oh, how do you raise something to take care of it to be a pet, but like how do you give something just enough help to where it gets the fuck out of your house and like is still able to live in nature. And that is one of the coolest fucking things to me. Because personally, I don't have that ability. I don't have the ability to try and take care of something for, let me rephrase that. I do. It does not come naturally. It doesn't come naturally to me at all. I want to possess the thing. I want to take care of it forever to make sure that it has the best life that it has. That's part of who I am. And I know that absolutely is a it's a reaction to traumas and stuff like that coming up. Trying to be a good God. But acknowledging that, I think, is something that is also important, because that can definitely know thyself. That's pretty much it. And that's my ranting. Pamper the precious baby. Exactly. Jason is the pinnacle of taking care of things that can't take care of themselves. I cannot stress enough. Not only do I know for a fact that Jason, if I stop feeding Jason, Jason will die. if I stopped putting as much effort into feeding Jason, Jason will die because she is utterly incapable. Like, I I really love the species because it's just like, yep, they can go half a year without eating. And they normally like only live like 2 years in the wild, which means that they maybe eat once or twice in their entire life, and then they just sit. And that's how I love that nature has rewarded them by kind of intervening in the sense in like the form of humans. Like, I do like that frog would have gone extinct. Like, there's no way that like, and see, the only thing, I guess that's the argument. It's the same thing with the axolotl. I love axolotls. I love amphibians. I love all these weird little animals that it's just like already are at the bottom of the food chain. They're struggling to survive. And it's just like, yeah, we destroyed their environment, so now they can't live at all. But it's just like, also now they thrive, but in captivity. It's, and that's the whole thing. I don't know. That was one of the, just a little bit of history there for you. One of the very first, like, domesticated, I mean, one of, if not the first domesticated, like, amphibian is probably the axolotl. It's when they were brought back in obscene quantities from America, whenever, like, during colonization, because they are so fucking weird. Like, that's, they really are such a unique animal in the sense that they defy evolution. Like, they press B, like they hold B, they're pounding B their whole fucking life. It's just wild. And I say that because they are one of the few, like, amphibians that have, like, external gills, like, that evolved to keep them on the outside, but they're just very weird. It's very, the axolotl absolutely appears to me like almost like a thwart or a stepping stone, like where they stopped. Like, they were supposed to keep evolving, but they didn't. And I love that because the difference is, like, say, shit, I mean, if you just look at an axolotl and then look at like a hellbender or look at any other big salamander, they look so much alike. They just, they don't have the feather gills, and that's a part of evolution for, like, a lot of those other, amphibians, is they do have those, and then they move up to the next little space in the cycle, and they lose those, and they get the ability to leave the water and, like, to walk on land. And axolotls don't do that, and they have not done that for millions of years, and that's, I love that. Same thing with, like, sharks. I love when an animal hits a point in its evolution that it stops evolving, and I love seeing how the world interacts with that. And, like, sharks are absolutely the craziest fucking animal on this planet. Like, really, like, because I don't think there's an animal that has evolved anywhere near as much as them. And, like, we can say, like, oh yeah, they haven't changed in X amount of years. Yeah, they haven't, because they fucking nailed it. Like, if you become the apex predator in one of, I mean, in the environment that it covers 90 something % of the planet, and you are now the apex predator, you cannot evolve to be better. Like, yep, I get it. They have essentially razor blades for skin. They don't give birth, like, literally fucking anything else. Like, it's the shark eggs are fucking wild. Sharks are just wild. Like, the fact that some of them give live birth, some of them lay eggs. That is so strange. Like, I cannot stress. A lot of people, I'm such a fucking nature nerd, and I always have been. But looking, and I'm going into this because all of this, it's not just me ranting and raving in the mornings. It's trying to, I guess, explain how I think of the things that I think of, as far as horror, as far as sci-fi, as far as anything, everything that I like to think of, it's all nature. Everything's nature. My first guest, those two little isopods that I set up that interview with them. It took months. I came down here, I found two isopods, and I felt compelled to pick them up and put them on this board and show them to you because I love them. They make me just happy. I love watching them. They always look like they are doing something. Isopods and shrimp. Isopods and shrimp aquatic shrimp. Like I don't have any. Well, I do. I have a few Amanos. Amanos are not able to reproduce in fresh water. I have 4 Amano shrimp still. I no longer have any of my dwarf shrimp. The greatest form is crab. I love crabs. I don't have any crabs just because I don't have any saltwater stuff. But God, if I did, the desire to have a saltwater tank that only has like cleanup crew in it is so high. Like, I love saltwater tanks. I don't give a single shit about the fish. Like, there's a couple fish that I really do like. There's a goby. My friend Tim. My friend Tim had a fucking gorgeous tank. It's his fault that I got as obsessed. It's not his fault. Let me rephrase that. It's mine. I'm obsessive. I'm obsessive. We all know this. So, yeah, you don't accidentally just have 7 fish tanks in your house all of a sudden because your friend Tim likes fish. No, it's me. I don't have control over that. And yeah, each of those, like, I've done that a couple times. The first time I did it, I had 3. I had 3 in my bedroom. I had 3 5-gallon aquariums in my bedroom. Each one was heavily planted. Like, I just created an ecosystem, and it had its own little microflora, little microfauna, and then one beta. Just one beta to have the best life that he can have in that little tank. I don't know. There's something that betas have always spoken to me. Just, you go in there and you see them, like, their entire lives are just, like, preordained to be just shit. And they don't even have control over their own fucking bodies. Like, wait, are you on the Ants Canada shit? I don't know what Ants Canada... Wait, are you on the Ants Canada? I think you might fuck with that. I don't know what Ants Canada is. Is it the game where you get to play as ants? Because I saw that on PlayStation. That looked fucking dope. Also, speaking about PlayStation, I picked up Battletech Clans last night, which was probably a mistake because I don't need to play more video games, but you know I love a Mad Cat, Timberwolf, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to call it a Mad Cat because I love kitties. Man, oh man, I'm trying to think of what I was talking about, but it had to do with evolution, probably had to do with animals, betas. All of it is, I love watching animals. It's a YouTube channel. Oh, no, I have not, but I would love that. If it's about ants, if it's about bugs, if it's about any of that kind of stuff, yeah, hell yeah. I think I've mentioned before my cousin, my cousin's husband, my attorney-in-law. My attorney-in-law, Alex, his hobby is so fucking rad. I don't think I'll ever be able to come up with anything as cool. I didn't turn my lights on. I just realized this. I don't think I'll ever be able to come up with a hobby anywhere near as cool. Or Mech45 Clans? Yeah, Mech45 Clans. That's what it was. Sorry. I never turned these lights on. I jumped weird yesterday. I think I donked up my foot a little bit. Gonna have to be a little easy on it today. He collects ant queens. Like, he hunts ant queens, like, not to kill them, but like to find them and then to establish grown-up, like, adult ant farms. Like, that's a hobby, and I love that. The guy has like 3 interconnected mega terrariums and documents what happens in them. Holy Christ, yeah. No, that is my jam, and that sounds like some shit that, like, so, like, I know that you guys are cool with, like, this stuff, but I know a lot of people don't want to watch my isopods, but I know that there's some weirdos out there that would like to watch that, and I have absolutely thought of, like, I wonder if I can just, like, set up a camera to just watch my isopods all the time. If someone out there wants to just, like, let me look at those little guys. Because that's what I was trying to get at. My whole obsession with, I think, crabs, isopods, the cleanup crew, those little critters, it all started with my buddy Tim's aquariums, and it's because I've never ever had a saltwater tank. I've never had a saltwater tank, so I never experienced that. Like, my fish tanks growing up, and I talked to Eric about this. I talked to Eric about this at work. I mean, a year or 2 ago, when his son had started getting into freshwater aquariums and specifically snails, which snails are another one. Like, Freshwater, no, I can't. I can't because it is a slippery slope, and the snails in my freshwater tanks do not do the same things as snails in saltwater tanks. People get heated about Ants Canada. I imagine they could. I would imagine that if you are playing God and letting people see what happens when you don't interact with it, people will be very unhappy because there is going to be nature. Nature will happen. And it is upsetting. I've been very upset, like, by my terrariums. Like, that's one thing that I think a lot of people, when, like, I put those 2 isopods in Jason's tank because they are better, they have a better, like, chance at life in there. I don't think, if I had kept them here, they'd die in my basement. My basement is not a suitable habitat for isopods. They get in here because when it rains, my basement is not completely sealed yet. So it does get a little moisture, but then it dries up. And isopods have to have moisture, like they have to, because again, they don't have lungs, they have gills. They have gills and they breathe moisture in the air. That's how they get their oxygen. It's so fucking cool. I love that. Which it makes way more sense. Like if I go and I spray, if I hose out the terrarium, give it just a little bit, and it's just like, it just like almost like blooms. You can just see all of them coming out because now it's easier for them to like to breathe and to run around. And he removed 3 sun skinks and released them back into the wild and kept a caiman crocodile, and people were so mad. Okay, now that's a little different. And that's another thing. That is the 2 animals. There are only 2 animals that her mom raised that she said, nope, fuck that. They're not here. They are not staying. They are going. The only 2 that she like took to rehome for somebody, like she took them and then immediately was like, I have got to find someone to take care of this. It's not staying here. The first one was a caiman, or sorry, not the first one, but the caiman was the second one technically. But it was given to them in a cooler, and Kelly has like a vivid memories of like remembering her mom taking a whole chicken, like a chicken you would buy at the store, and throwing it into this cooler and then sitting on it, and her mom being like moved around because this caiman eating this chicken just like, and like that's pretty rowdy. Like her mom, I absolutely would not even think for a second that I could stand a fight with Kelly's mom. She would kick my ass. Not only that, not only physically do I know that Kelly's mom could kick my ass. 2, Kelly's mom fucking was a like I don't want to say a barbarian, but she does not fucking take shit, and did not take shit like her whole life, and has been in more fights than I could even imagine, and won. Like she was just a rowdy rough girl. Very, very, very awesome person. I don't know. I love Kelly's mom. She's just such a good person and such a like positive force in this world. Like very clearly, it's a relationship that I've really enjoyed watching grow because I can see so much of myself in her. But then also she's so open-minded, and like I'm continually like impressed by anyone that's just like, man, I was raised to think this way. But talking about it, I can't not think about the other way now. It's just like she's very good at that, and I love Kelly's mom. Shrimp, that's what I was talking about. Shrimps, crabs, isopods, the cleanup crew. I love them so much because they are always doing something. They're always doing something, and they're always so confident. And I think that's it. I think because they're not a hive mind. Like, I guess that's what I love about them is they are not a hive mind. They are a collective, but they operate like a hive mind. Like they are a community that is made up of individuals, but the individuals are all so in it for the greater good kind of thing, that they don't fight amongst themselves more than like they have to. And I appreciate that. With that said, though, they also will fucking eat each other. They absolutely will be cannibals. Because that's just how the world is. If, they don't have enough food, then they might eat each other. So you got to make sure you feed them. And sometimes when they die, they'll just eat the corpse. I never thought, I think I want to eat my friend's dead body, but I'm not an isopod. I'm also not a scrimp. But yeah, I just love watching shrimp, especially. They are always doing something, like perpetually. They have so many little legs. They're always picking stuff up and putting it in their mouths. And it's just like, what are you doing? But I said earlier that they eat wood and whatnot. All of those are detrivores. They eat pretty much damn near whatever they can find, as long as it is like able to be eaten. And given that they don't have very, very, very big mouths, I mean, you don't have to have much to sustain them. So yeah, I've talked a whole bunch about a lot of little critters. Man, this is looking good though. Every now and then I'll like look at it on like the screen and I'm like, that looks really good. And I'm like, man, this looks good in person too, but detritus. Detritus. I'm trying to think. I've only got a few more minutes and I'm about to blast off. I was working on some stuff for Flames of Orion. I talked with Steve about how to get my boards to be as optimized for gameplay as possible. So I've got a lot of ideas with that. And today I'm probably going to do some like breaking out of where shapes go and stuff. I'm so fucking sleepy. I want to go back to sleep. Oh no. And then Atri showed up. She's sleepy. Poor sleepy thing. Yeah, you just gotta get out of bed, kiddo. Gotta go to work. Or maybe not work, but you gotta be awake. It's 7:38. Ah! Oh, why were we on the Ants Canada train earlier? Big mood, Atri. Big mood. I do like that Atri shows up and it's just like, I'm so fucking sleepy. I want to go back to sleep. I like that. That's good. I support it. I support it so hard. In my world, Atri, you would absolutely be able to go back to sleep. Yo, Atri, I'm like, yeah, it's Canada shit. I'm stoked. You all have got me pumped. I'm gonna have to look into these ants, these Canadian ants. Speaking of Canadians, yesterday I watched him for a bit because I liked the terrariums, but his commentary was so cringe I gave up. Oh man, I hope my commentary's not cringe. That's definitely a thing that I'm like, man, I really hope I'm not a cringe person. But I guess I'll find out probably in like 10, 15 years. I'm just like lying awake at night. I love terrariums. I'm gonna have to look because true. Good truce. So I realized that while I have the camera kind of showing this way, you can kind of see over here on my space, and there is just a bunch of hair. Like, I'm not a trash boy. I saw that. I just felt the need to specify that. My friend Sam was here, and I saw him looking over there. I was like, is he looking at my little Catboy stickers, or is he looking at all that hair that I keep over there? And I'm not a trash boy. Well, I am a trash boy. I'm a trash boy, but that's a very key. That's not even a key. That's just like a fucking a family joke. I can't stress enough. My mom, one of the things that is just commonly said between my mom, my sister, and I is Eli is a trash. Eli is a trash, and that every time like it pops into my head, I just think of the scene from Game of Thrones where like the dude with all the chains for a necklace is like talking to, I think, Brom, the one who gets pushed out the window, but he's just like, what are the words of House Lannister? And he's just like, Lannister always pays his debts. And he's just like, a common saying, yes, but it is not their words. And I think of that. I think of like, House Parsons. What is their, what are their words? And just, Eli is a trash. And he would just be like, Common saying, yes, but it is not their house words. That's what it makes me think. Yeah, I'm a trash. My mom says that because I very openly don't give a shit a lot of times about what people think. Or I like stuff that my mom finds disappointing. Not this, but almost everything else. Like all my demons, anything sleazy. You're such a trash. But you know, it's from a loving place. So yeah. On that note, I don't know if, I mean, I showed you guys some isopods today. I talked a lot about that, but that's all about, like, you know, as far as design and like inspiration. That's kind of what that was. And I showed off the rocks that I painted. Today I'm going to be not finishing, but I'm going to varnish. I'm going to seal this so I can start working on some more colors. You're nice, trash. Recycling. Thank you. I think so. I'm recycled goods. All right. On that note, thank you all so much for hanging out and keeping me company this morning. I'm going to go make some coffee, but I hope you have a great day. I will try to make some progress on this, and I'll share what I got going on in the Discord today. I'll be in there. But thank you guys so much for the company. Sit pretty. Take care. Have a good day. Wonderful having so many of you guys here this morning. Bye, friends.